Hello and welcome to Muscle Testing University. Thanks so much for joining us. We're sitting out here in Austin, Texas, bringing you your first lesson. And really the first lesson is not about how to do muscle testing. Interesting enough, it's about the philosophy and consciousness necessary to do it accurately and effectively. I see a lot of times people all the time people are asking me to help them improve the accuracy of their muscle testing. And it's not in the technique itself, it's on the attitude and mindset of going into it. So the way I want to explain this is muscle testing is it's like a legit superpower, right? And using it, you're tapping into what I call an ecstatic state, okay? And there are four common characteristics or four common sequential things that are necessary to effectively tap into an ecstatic state. And it goes like this. It is selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, and richness. If you look at the map of consciousness, which we'll go into a bit, the top of the map of consciousness is you're operating in power, and the bottom is you're operating in force. David Hawkins, who developed the map of consciousness using muscle testing, one thing I've heard him say is that to muscle test effectively, someone's level of consciousness needs to be above 200, 250, because it's above that level that you start to let go of your ego, right? So again, if tapping into an ecstatic state, you need to be selfless, you need to have selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, and richness. The first step is selflessness. It's getting rid of your ego. And so if in life, your value depends on your personal performance, how people treat you, or how institutions honor you, then when you go to do something like muscle testing, you're always a bit worried about your ego. What happens if I'm wrong? What happens if it's not? Whatever. You're worried about you, right? And when you can let go of that and be totally fine, you're gonna muscle test someone. It's interesting. You don't have to put judgment on it, on the result or yourself. Then all of a sudden, you can be incredibly accurate. So the first thing about doing muscle testing is just to be totally relaxed. Just be like, hey, whatever, we're gonna play around with it. It's super interesting, we'll see what happens. This is why when I do sessions for people, one of the first things I'll tell them is I go, hey, just wanna be upfront. I'm not super attached to being 100% accurate, right? If I was 100% accurate all the time on muscle testing, that would be weird, right? I'd be testing for what the winning Powerball numbers are, okay? Different things like that. That's not how this works. I just gonna keep my ego out of this, right? And I just wanna help you. And if we come up with something that doesn't make sense, just toss it right out the window. Not a big deal. So when you can become selfless and you don't put time pressure on yourself, then it gets easy. And then the results are incredible. Selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, and richness. And this actually comes from a book called Stealing Fire. And I will include the link to that book in here. But really interesting book. And when I read it, I kind of went, aha, so much better understand why sometimes I'm better at testing for people than others. And it helped me focus on those four key things whenever I'm doing work for people. So anyways, hope that helps. We're gonna cover tons of material and have a lot of fun doing this. And I so look forward to empowering all of you wonderful people. Bye.